school kids, they only have 70 people that have responded. And he goes, there's no way we're ever going to be able to get any data to find out if our kids are, what are they really feeling inside. We can't collect this data anymore. It's a cry. It's one of the things. I don't care if you're Governor Kelly or whether you're hopeful Derek Schmidt. I don't care if you're left or right. It just doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense for kids. And that's what I hate when they bring in the coast bias into Kansas, because I think if you walk around and you ask our people if they're proud of what we're doing and trying to do the best for our kids, I don't know too many parents that come here and go, gosh dang it, why are you checking to see if that kid is regulated? Why are you checking to see if that kid is thinking about suicide? I don't know if anybody's going to come in there and say, geez, we just talked about Narcan. I mean, what parent is going to go and say, I don't care if my kid's on drugs. We don't have parents that are saying that. They're saying that it's a good thing. These are just making it harder and harder. I'm not trying to get on a politics soapbox here, but these are the things that are making it harder to deal with some of the things that we have as goals as a board and as a community, because these are community goals. We sat right down in here in the middle of 2020, we want to talk about politics, in the middle of 2020, and everything that was going on in COVID, we still developed this strategic plan. And we met in here. We still did those things, even through all the COVID. And so we functioned as a school district. We didn't shut down and just tell everybody to go away. We did things that still move our district forward, and we're being penalized a little bit on some of these things on this one. So I'm not going to talk about it anymore. You're getting fired up anymore. Sorry.
That's kind of my point with critical race theory. If somebody was actually teaching that, it would be all over Facebook and YouTube and within minutes. But you've never seen that. You just get the accusations. And so
there are a couple curriculums that are out there that have been used in Kansas that I know that they have gone away from because they have found some CRT being taught. And we did not adopt that curriculum. In fact, only 8 school districts in Kansas did, and several of them have gone away from it. So. Next one is ensure that college-bound graduates have the skills to be successful college students. You're actually going to get a presentation on this at the next board meeting about some of these things from our Senior 101 class that's in October. So they'll be reporting out to you on those things there. I think we're doing some great things. I'm excited for you to hear about them. You just heard tonight about those opportunities and the scholarships that we offer. It continues to grow. I think there's some things that we need to look at next year, as Mr. Owen is aware, and maybe you guys weren't, but do we have to have some sort of coding class? We have to have some sort of computer science class incorporated next year at the high school level. We've had those things. It's just got to be something that you teach, not required to graduate. We've had them. We have our robotics, we have our STEM, but I can't say that we have a computer science class being taught. So it's one of the things in the spring we'll come to you with, and something that we'll look at incorporating there. Some of these are our ways out. Understand that you've got spring of 23. We did move some of that because of some of the COVID didn't allow colleges. We couldn't do outreach to colleges because you couldn't really do a lot with colleges, and if you think about it in 21. So we did move some of these deadlines out a little bit. The state board just next week, or tomorrow and Wednesday, are going to discuss the last one on the page about college bound, which is consider ways to increase access to elective offerings. So I know that they are taking up, how can I perhaps get, and I pick on my wife, I'll use her as an example, physical education. Well, if I go out for 3 sports during the school year, can that count as my physical education class? Do I have to take freshman PE? Everybody in our school usually goes out for 1 or 2 activities. So if you don't go out for a sport, then you couldn't get it. So you'd have to go with, maybe your freshman year, that wasn't a requirement for freshmen. So they can do some more exploratory, do some more career tech ed exploratory classes instead of being thrown into that freshman PE class. Or maybe you take a weights class or whatever, or a lifetime skills class, which we offer this year. So they're looking at things like that. They're also looking at perhaps maybe we do creative writing counts as an English credit, or we count a technical math class at Slide Area Tech as one of our math classes. So starting to look at those things, the state board is discussing those. The state board of education is looking at those the next 2 days, which is great. Funny how it's already on ours. So we knew it was coming down the pipe, and then they are addressing it after a 2-year study. So that's a good thing. Moving on down the road there. Career bound. So switching gears, our community said we want to make sure we have successful skills in career bound. We put this out on Twitter and Facebook and everything last week, sort of did a smaller synopsis of all the areas, if you caught that, trying to get our message out and what we're all about. And so, you know, we need to do, one of the things right here is enhance mentorships and students throughout the community and county partnerships. So this started with our CEO, Dickinson County, which you currently have Holt Walker, who was here just yelling and screaming right before the board meeting and asking about if things are going well for him. What are some other partnerships? What are some other mentorships we can get our kiddos into? Miss Jody Howard is leading it. She and I met this morning actually to discuss this topic, in fact, and what does it look like moving forward? And is there a program or is there a way to get it? We are at a disadvantage because of our location, meaning that we don't have a lot of businesses downtown. We don't have a lot of partners that we can just go down. We have to travel to get our partners, if that makes sense. So that's one of the disadvantages we have. But we have the world of Zoom. Is there a way that you can have a mentor that is in Indiana that's based upon, if I'm in ag and ag mechanics and I'm at the maybe the big John Deere dealers out there in Illinois and so on and so forth, the manufacturers, we can just talk to them or something. Is there some way that we can create some partners through Zoom? Doesn't mean you have to go and job shadow at the actual site. So we need to think outside the box a little bit. We had some of those discussions today. Moving on, if it says orange means that we're doing it or we're exploring it or it's in the process. So obviously one of the topics was enhanced learning opportunities for all students. We did talk about the last one there, which is Dickinson County CEO. We shared speech teachers and explored partnerships with others. We sort of looked at those things. With teacher shortages, that last one is going to be really important. How do we explore ways to not just teacher shortages, but also para shortages or, you know, director of food service, you know, accounts payable. It's hard to find people. So we've got to look at ways to possibly, I know it says students, but to provide those services for our community, we're going to have to think of ways to actually maybe look at it a little bit differently there. Curriculum there, you can see the ELA was going to go in the spring of 2020. We put it on a pause, and then we'll go back and try to get a rotation. When we talk about curriculum, when we put that in there, and it says, hey, we want to get on a curriculum rotation. If you buy the curriculum, is it the curriculum or are you trying to buy resources? And we always have this discussion. I'm looking at the two back there because I've had the discussion with both of them, in fact, about it. So Wonders is what we use to teach junior high English. Okay, Wit and Wisdom, we didn't have anything at the 7th and 8th grade level, so they're using Wit and Wisdom. That is the curriculum guide. I wouldn't say that is the curriculum because you pull resources in from other sources. Okay, Wonders is what we use at the elementary school, except, I'm going to forget it, Really Great Reading is something we pull in, or what's the other one? Forget it. Oh, great, put you on the spot, didn't I? Really Great Reading is another curriculum we bring in to help with reading skills. And so it's not necessarily one adoption of a book. Think back to the way that we all went to school. It has changed. It's not sitting yet. It's not open your math book and let's just go to page chapter 1, 2, 3. It's not English, open it up and let's read from the very first page to the last page. Okay? So what are, maybe it's resources is what we need to look at. Maybe we need to look at, we're going to dedicate $20,000 a year in resources, and we do that on a rotation. Have them get together, and how do you want to best utilize the $20,000? Do you want it to be, adopt a whole new curriculum, which by the way is $100,000? I'll say that one more time. Yeah, that's why we're like, okay, let's pause. Because are you actually teaching it book to book, or are you actually just using it as a resource? Because if we're using it as a resource, resources don't change. If we give them $20,000 to expand the resources, now we got more resources. Okay? And so looking at those and having those discussions, that's something that Liz is in the back row, and she's leading our district leadership team this year because she's in charge of our KISA. And so that's one of the discussions our district leadership team needs to have and then bring to you in the spring. Because I don't think the way we all used to talk about it, it's not like a uniform rotation. We're going to buy some new uniforms, switch them out, switch them in. It's not that easy because when you switch out a curriculum, guess what? All the training that goes with it. They just got it, and it has really changed over time. Maybe a little bit, maybe it's got some little bell and whistle that's awesome, but can we find that somewhere else? So those are the things to look at to better utilize our money instead of just throwing $100,000 and saying, checkbox, we adopted a new curriculum. These other things are discussions at the board retreat. You can see those on there. I've been hit up already this year about this one. Survey students regarding the interest of additional extracurricular activities. So in January of 2023, we will send a survey out. I've been hit up by about 3 parents. Are you going to start softball and baseball? One of those people that we were hit up with was actually quite interesting because they don't even have kids that go to school here. They actually went to private school, and they hit us up about it. And I was like, we were really intrigued by it. And so, like, okay, well, we just put in a beautiful brand new facility up there. We talked about that, and I just think communicating to our public about if that's what the direction we want to go. So, but I know there's still a group of people that are adamant about baseball, softball. We'll put it out there. We'll leave it at that. We just put in a brand new track facility. It's a beautiful track facility. Okay. Next one, increased parent involvement in our schools. We did that last year. We always do it every other year, remember? And so that's great. We'll do it again next fall. So we'll do that every other year. So we keep doing that. I think it's been great for us. This is the one bringing more people into how we bring it in. So I had a question the other day called, can grandparents come and eat? Can parents come and eat on their birthday? Yes. Yes, we're open for business. We're open for business. We're back to come and eat and celebrate those milestones with your child or with your grandchild. So we had some grandparents in the other day and ate lunch with their grandchild and who had a birthday, and perfect. We want those things to happen. Grandparents' Day is coming back. You know, all the things that we had before, the good things, they're coming back, and there's some other things that we can do. Back to the first discussion, if you remember, we started this, when I first started, we started talking about CRT, and we're not teaching CRT. We need to get more people in here to see the good that our teachers are doing. You know, our substitutes are valuable because they're our messengers beyond the walls, because teachers, they're not going to toot their own horn. But I guarantee if you ask some of our substitutes, they do toot our horn. And they do know what a great job that our kids and our teachers are doing. And so now how do we get some parents in here to maybe look at a day or sign up for like an hour at a time, a snapshot to do a tour of the school and go into some classrooms and see. I don't know if it would work. It's maybe something to look at. So you've seen a little bit more about what are the 5 things to get to know. I'm trying to get feedback from staff. They're swamped right now. I sent it out. I had 4 responses back. I'll keep sending it out until I get a few more responses on some actual things that we can go and look at and maybe make sure we're telling our story there. But I don't know. I sort of like the idea of I'll call it up. And I think, you know, eventually it's going to look something like this, to where get to know USD 393, and here's the 5 areas that our teachers did identify during our in-service, that were student-centered, that were community-based, that we have successful students, that were very much future-driven, and that we have dream protectors, which is our staff. And so, and then a little did you know. And so we'll send this out to every postal patron. The idea is right around Thanksgiving, so that way they sort of know a little bit about what's going on. And I want to do it over Thanksgiving. This is not an election deal. This is just one of those things I want it to be done after the election. This is not a political stance. I want it to be, this is just be proud of who we are and know what we are. What are the 5 things that everybody in our community should be very proud of? And these are the 5 things. And these are the 5 things. And then underneath here will be things that we do at school that are student-centered, that are community-based, that are successful students, that show that we have successful students. And so make it very short. If I write it up as a thesis, no one's going to read it. If it looks like a good looking graphic like this, they might actually read it with a couple bullets underneath it. So, and then the last one, there's our KISA goals. We'll discuss them. We had to cancel our district leadership team. We've got a little bit of the bug going around on everybody already. It seems like we've had a little bit of the cold and flu going around early. So a lot of allergies, a lot of things like that. So we had to cancel our meeting. But here's the goals as we move forward. And everything that you looked at your strategic plan, these goals come straight from there. Goal number 1, You know, we're increasing the rigor in all students, creating greater opportunities. The idea is to move everybody from, a couple months ago, we went over the state assessments, and they're also in the folder today. Move those that are level 1 to level 2, 5% of our people, if we can move them. That's just moving 2 kids. If we can move 2 kids from level 1 to level 2, 2 kids from level 2 to level 3, 2 kids from level 3 to level 4, we've had a huge shift, okay? So 2, 4, 6, 8 people have been impacted by that. That's awesome, okay? That's making gains. Because there's gonna be some other people that gain even within that level 2 or that level 3. And then the last one is, this is a challenge, and this is probably the first time that the principal's seen it. So, we're coming up with it, but our district level, and our district leadership team is gonna look at college and career graduates, not just college. Okay, we get our post-secondary success rate, but we don't ever look at the career people. There's a lot of people that are gonna leave here and can make $25 an hour if they have a technical certificate, and they're just going that direction, okay? What's EMS offered right now? What I read in the paper, Brad, what was it?
Depends on the position.
But it's high at, what was it?
Paramedics start about 62,000.
Yeah, paramedic at 62,000. So it doesn't take a 4-year college degree or a 6-year degree to earn that.
It's a 2-year.
2-year degree, there you go. And if somebody is service driven and loves the medical field but doesn't really want to go that way, medical field, that's a good living. That's a great living. So there's opportunities out there. So how do we go and how do we track those people and find out over the next 5 years? So we're small enough to where we can see, we can go back and we can look at, I know where Logan is right now. We can go ask Logan and give the survey to him, or we'll be able to track the seniors in 2 years and find out where they're at. And I think will we get everybody? No, but we'll get at least as many as we can. There's some we'll lose track of. But I think that's the only way we're gonna tell them. Were you ready when you graduated from Solomon? Okay, and then if we take the benchmark right now, and then 5 years from now, where are we at? And if we're moving forward, hopefully there's an increase of 10% over 5 years to where we've moved that needle on our perception survey from our own people that graduated with a diploma from Solomon. So those are your 2 goals as we move to the next round. That was a lot. I apologize. I told Andrew I was going to be brief, and that was anything but brief. But it is a little bit of who we are, and it really drives the things that you're doing. So I covered all those areas, I hope, within there, except for 2 things. And that is the Hall of Fame, and we talked about it at the very beginning. Okay? You've already had all that. You've had plenty of time. And they each got a ticket like this, which is pretty cool. Some may want it back as souvenirs. Miss Noggle took them all. I think she was trying to take them home or something.
No.
I don't know what it was. But anyways, so that is giving back to your community, and that's bringing your community involvement back into that piece of your strategic plan. And then the last one was the board policy review. The last time that I lean over here to Deanne. No, it's not. That is not wrong. We joke about it because the last time we reviewed the board policy was 2016. And we've reviewed it and updated it. But the last time we had legal counsel review it and make sure we're up to date and legal and everything that we are doing, it was 2016. So we're probably at that time, if we're wanting to move ahead and move forward, I think that would be a good thing. And why is that under the parent community involvement? Because just like last year, we had some parents and community come in and talk about policies. And now's a good time to change and look at those before you have somebody else in front presenting saying they want something changed. And so have legal counsel look at it, go through it, make suggestions. At the retreat, we can do a breakout just on different policies that you'd like to see addressed, and then turn that over to legal, and they can come up with the correct verbiage, per se. Okay, I promise I'm done. Is it open?
No.
Okay. I told you I was gonna need one.
There you go.
Okay, so human resource items, 1, resignation of A. Carl Ross, bus driver, pre-K para, and 2, the hire of Anthony Horsley for the after-school program, 3, reassignment of Johnny Carver to the pre-K para, and update descriptions, the nurse pre-K through 12 executive assistant food service director.
So were there any major changes in the job descriptions?
They were updated from a while ago. Let's just say a while ago. I think the last time that these were updated was probably the last time we had them. So the K-12 executive assistant, we never had one because it was just a secretary. So we've added and combined some responsibilities there. The district nurse one was probably the last time we hired Nurse Mary. So we did update that one. And then your food service director, I think the last time that that was officially updated was maybe when Linda was the food service director. So it was a long time ago. And it switched because we're no longer a part of OPA. So like there's a lot more responsibility then. So you were in charge of the kitchen, you were in charge of everything. This is more you're in charge of the data part of it and the forms and the food service agreement with OPA. So it switched a lot since then.
When do you think about it? Nurse Mary came with the 7th graders now, we're kidding.
8th graders. And the 8th graders were kindergarten.
No,
No, it wasn't. Because that camera started with Brecken. But they were kindergartners, our first year here.
because I
Yeah.
remember,
Old Brecken and Cameron have been best buds since the first day we got here. And that's when we hired Nurse Mary that first year.
because Andy trained her on keeping medicine.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was kindergarten.
Now, she started middle of the year.
Yeah.
So she wasn't like an August hire. So, yeah. Yeah. Been a long time. She did a good job. Okay.
I move we approve the HR items.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the human resource items. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Future dates, our board retreat. Did anyone have any preferences on September 26th, 28th, or October 3rd?
What dates?
Oh. I didn't do that.
That's
I
fine.
was thinking it was-
26 is Monday, 28 is Wednesday, 3 is Monday.
Monday was the Monday.